Joseph emphasized that persons involved in the rearing of livestock need to think as
It is the intention of government to give deliberate attention to all levels of education from
watch in preparation for any eventuality. EMAP, the national
until the end brand who will actually make it true. Will the tables be turned?
Money like at the top moon, but la Messi go hotel here,
city that appeals to locals and visitors alike is set to
as many as our opinions behind, as many as will be opinions,
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Issues and Answers with me, Jacques Kingston Compton. Today I'm here with several faculty members of the University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus. Starting from my immediate right, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Garth Jones. I'm from the admissions office at St. Augustine.
Hi, good day to the viewers out there. I'm Lucia Roberts, Deputy Dean Outreach from the Faculty of Law, University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus.
Hi, good day. Thank you for having us. Darren Conrad from the Faculty of Social Sciences. I'm also the Deputy Dean for Distance and Outreach and a lecturer in the Department of Economics.
Okay, so tell us why you're here today. Anyone?
Okay, we're actually here as part of an ongoing effort, which is an annual event where we engage in some outreach in terms of encouraging students to attend tertiary level institutions. So it's really a recruitment drive. And it's at the open campus, and I think the actual open day is on Thursday, starting at 9 a.m. and it runs until 6 p.m. at the open campus, where we have several individuals. Anyone who's interested in attending the University of the West Indies can come out and get some information. And we'll also be heading down to the south of the island tomorrow, where we'll be spending some time down there as well. So we're trying to get as many stops along the way in terms of outreach programs and sharing the information with individuals who may be interested in the programs that we have to offer.
Okay, so just so that we're on the same page, that Thursday is the February 12th.
Yes.
What do you know what time the activities start?
The open house, it starts at 9 a.m. At 9 a.m. and it runs until 6 p.m. at open campus.
Okay, I know this year in St. Lucia you're trying to sort of extend your reach. Other than traveling to the south of the island, which I'm not sure if have you done that before, when your predecessors had been to?
Well, I don't know if they went to the south, but I mean, of course, every time I come to St. Lucia, I go to the south. So yes, but I'm sure they would have. It's an ongoing effort, and I'm sure they would have done so in the past as well.
And how else are you going about sort of extending your wider net in terms of recruiting students to get to the University of the West Indies?
Well, we actually were on what was that radio program this morning? We were on the radio program this morning. 90 minutes. Yes, we were on 90 minutes, and we were also accompanied by Dr. Veronica Simon, who is the head of the Open Campus as well. In addition to that, we also have several other media that we use, including advertising. Open Campus, they do a lot of advertising as well. And so I think what the actual presence of individuals from the St. Augustine campus, and we, unfortunately the Mona and Cave Hill campus representatives weren't able to make it. But I think being here, individuals may have questions that they may not be able to get those questions answered online by visiting the websites. So having us here, and we can talk a little bit more about some of the new offerings. And individuals may have questions about, well, okay, I know about management, but I don't know necessarily about what can I do with criminology, those types of things. So help them understand this may be a career path for you that you may not have thought about before. So those are some of the things our actual presence brings. There's some direct benefits with that.
Well, could you tell us about the new offerings, the new things that you are offering, and in general, what do the different campuses offer?
Well, I think I would have to defer that to Mr. Jones, who is more intimately familiar with the offerings across the different campuses from the admissions end.
Okay. What we try to do, each campus has a unique program, list of programs that we'll be offering. At St. Augustine, engineering is unique to us, right? We also have agriculture is also unique to us, right? Social sciences is offered all through the campuses. St. Augustine, Mona, Cave Hill, and also open campus as well. But what areas you're more interested in, new ones that you're offering?
Yes, the new one. Well, we'll talk about the new ones for now. We'll talk about the old ones a little later on.
Okay. Well, the new program that we started this year in social sciences will be criminology.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you'll
well, we have the new department, political science as well.
Political science, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, and in science and technology, we've started a program in stats and economics. We have, which is very popular now, environmental and sustainable technology and biomedical technology.
So with these new programs, what opportunities are available later after graduation for students?
Well, at the moment, because it's new, we have no graduates in those areas yet. Yeah. So I'm thinking that the private sector and public sector would snatch them up as soon as they graduate. Because there is a shortage of persons in those areas in particular, right?
Which I was about to say, in that the fact that the University of the West Indies is now offering these programs, it is actually the university is constantly aware of the changing needs within the region. And so developing the programs to provide individuals with the skills to meet those needs. As a matter of fact, on the radio program this morning, a caller called in and asked about agriculture from Open Campus, and I'm pretty sure that that will be taken into consideration. So to say that what career paths would be, it would be in those fields, because there's probably there is a need for those individuals with those skills.
So have these new programs been created because of a need?
Job market demand, essentially, is what drives the creation of the new programs.
If I could just jump in?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, and welcome again to our program. I'm from the Faculty of Law, and in the Faculty of Law we have one program, one degree, that's the law degree, the undergraduate program. And we've been developing new courses to meet the needs of the demands of society. So we have a new course in oil and gas law, for instance, being offered at the St. Augustine campus, because we realize that the industry in Trinidad needs to have skilled persons in that area. And we recently developed also banking law, and we're on the verge of developing several new courses in law. So while we're a faculty that have one undergraduate course and one undergraduate degree, we are constantly developing new courses to meet the needs of society. I just want to say generally, while we're here this week doing some activities to promote the University of the West Indies, we're really interested in not only the high school students, but the adults who are in the region, and we think you can promote yourself and reach your full potential with tertiary education at the University of the West Indies. So we want you to consider the University of the West Indies as a first option for tertiary education.
Okay, could you tell us a little bit about what the eligibility requirements for those new programs, especially the law in oil and gas and in banking?
Okay, well, if you're admitted into the law degree program as a student at the St. Augustine campus, then there are core courses that you have to do in the first and second year. They're compulsory courses. So courses like constitutional law, real property, public international law, those are things that every student would have to do. But in the third year, you have optional courses. So there's a choice once you get your credit requirement. So you can do 10 courses throughout the year, 5 in one semester. That's how it's usually done, 5 and 5. And the new courses like intellectual property, oil and gas law, environmental law, and so on. These are options, and you have to decide, maybe based on the career path that you'd like to take. If you think you want to be a corporate lawyer, you might take more of the corporate law courses like company law and so on. But if you want to be in environment, you can do the environmental law courses, family, and so on. So they're optional courses in the third year, and you have a choice. And we have all of this information available on our website. We have a handbook, a faculty handbook, and you can download that freely, and you'll see the full course offerings from the first, second, and third year, and the options. We also have information on the postgraduate degrees that we offer, the master's, and recently started a PhD program in law as well.
Okay. Now we're due for a break. My name is Jack Kingston Compton. You are watching Issues and Answers. Stay tuned.
My vision for my island home is one where everyone is happy, where everyone has a job and earns a good wage.
A country where we all have a good home and family.
Where there is less crime and violence, and if there are problems, we work them out.
I would like a St. Lucia where we all enjoy a clean and healthy environment with no pollution. where all children are safe and have a good education so that we can become better citizens in the future.
This is my vision for my country, St. Lucia.
Welcome back to Issues and Answers. I'm here with several faculty members of the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine campus. Earlier, we spoke with Mrs. Alicia Elias Roberts at the Faculty of Law in St. Augustine, and she spoke about a lot of the new programs that they are currently offering. Now, Dr. Darren Conrad, could you tell us of some of the new programs offered at St. Augustine?
Well, in the Faculty of Social Sciences, we originally had 3 departments, which were behavioral sciences, economics, and management. And we've recently now added the political science department. And in that department, we have a bachelor's degree in political science, as well as a diploma in local government and governance. So those are 2 new, actually, an entire department that was added. And then in the behavioral sciences, they added the program of criminology, a degree program, criminology, and that has it gained a lot of traction within recent times. As a matter of fact, I think last year was the first cohort that was admitted into the program. And we also have the sports management. I think that was added recently in the management department.
Okay, and what can, in some of those courses that you mentioned, what opportunities are available out there for graduates?
Unlike some of the other faculties, for instance, in law, most people, before entering, they already know this is what I want to pursue, a career in law. Mm-hmm. In social sciences, it's quite unique in that we have all of these offerings. I mean, if we look at there's a wide array of programs that we offer. And individuals tend to, when they come out of the management program, they pretty much say, okay, I'm going to work at management level in some corporation. So those are some of the ones that students are more familiar with. For instance, accounting, most of them already decided we want to be an accountant. And then there's some of the other students who would then try to figure out what do I really want to do, but not sure what options are available. So for instance, criminology. When you hear about criminology, when we go to all of the schools, everyone thinks CSI, law and order, criminal intent. Yeah. But there are so many other areas you can work in terms of criminology, in terms of public policy, working with think tanks, working with research institutes, working even with the public sector in terms of developing programs, or even the private sector, and even working with law firms in providing technical advice as well. When we talk about, of course, in social sciences, the good thing about it is that most employers are looking for core competencies that would have been acquired throughout the degree program. So most of the programs, they have the core courses, so you acquire a certain level of competence in certain areas. And so that tells the employer you have this set of skills, not just necessarily a degree. So for instance, people may say, well, what can I do with economics? I can only be an economist. No, you can work in private sector as an analyst, a business analyst, the same thing that a finance person can do because of the competencies you've developed in certain areas. And one of them also is political science. People say, well, I don't want to be a politician, so I won't do political science. But of course, political science is also a valuable degree because you can work as an analyst on many different levels for corporations as well, even law firms as well.
Okay, a question I have is actually for Mr. Jones. What are some of the more popular courses? And on top of the more popular courses, what are we lacking in? What is a field that we need to generate interest in?
Okay, from my experience over the years, we get a lot of applications for Faculty of Medical Sciences, law, engineering, and social sciences. I'd say the faculty that seems to be, that there's not as much interest would be the Faculty of Humanities and Education. A lot of people are not aware what they offer. It's not just drawing, painting, and stuff like that. All right, we have film. We have a new program in film and film production. We have communication studies. If you want to go into journalism, you can use that. At Mona campus, we have a media and communication program you can do through the Faculty of Humanities and Education. All right, that's also geared towards journalists. So there's a lot of areas in humanities that they could, you could go into that they're probably not aware of.
Okay, well, this one is a kind of a general question. Why? First of all, actually, have you met students from during your tour so far?
No, we haven't actually met any because today actually was the first day that we're taking off with events, but we'll be meeting students tomorrow.
Okay, I was wondering if you had received any feedback from anyone at all from just the few talks that you have had with individuals.
No, and to feedback in terms of?
In terms of, well, if you've, I know you've spoken, I don't know if you've spoken to any students yet.
No.
So, no, okay, not yet. No. All right, the other question I have is, if when you eventually do speak to students, why should they go to UWI?
Okay, that is where I move away from being sort of that bastion in terms of selling the University of the West Indies, and because my area is actually economics of education. So I tend to tell students the direct benefits associated with tertiary level education. So not just why go to UWI, but why pursue tertiary level at all. And I tell people that it gives you a degree of mobility that secondary school level education will not allow you. And the higher you go, the more mobile you become in terms of degree programs, not just at UWI, but tertiary level education. It gives you a different level of awareness of your existence and your contribution and your role in society is one of the benefits. Another direct benefit, which is what the students really, this is when I get their attention, is that the higher your degree, the higher your level of education, there's a direct link or relationship with your income. So on the last survey that was done, I think a secondary school graduate made at least $48,000 a year. And as a PhD graduate, you make $460,000 a year. So the higher you go, the annual income can turn into your monthly income. So that is also a direct benefit. I mean, if you have $48,000, you're looking at a few $1,000s a month, as opposed to $460,000, which is TT dollars. Of course, you do the conversion, there's a direct link. I converted it to TT dollars. But the higher you go, the higher your income. And your decision-making process changes, no matter what your degree program is. Your decision-making, and that is also a benefit to the individual as well. So your quality of life improves, in addition to your being able, which is a huge concern across the region, how can I help my parents? Because life may be difficult for them. Now, you want to help them so that as soon as you finish secondary school, you go get a job, because I want to help out at home. But if you spend about 3 more years, the way that you'll be able to help them out, it way surpasses what you would be able to help them out had you just started working after secondary school. So those are some of the things that I think really are beneficial as a graduate.
Well, an interesting question I have to add to that is a few years ago, for example, in the United Kingdom, the tuition went up. I think it was in 2011, it was tripled, especially for home students. And we have a large number of unemployed graduates. I believe the largest number in history. Can you still make the argument that tertiary education is a viable investment?
Yeah, and that is the correct word to use. It's an investment with a long-term return. Now, while it may seem that the unemployment rates may be a little bit higher than usual globally, so there are a lot of unemployed graduates, that should not be a deterrent. What education is a country in the process of developing a human capital base that will position itself for long-term growth. So when the global economy turns around, you don't have to scramble and import skilled labor, but you have skilled labor. So yes, the argument can be made, because if we don't spend that money on the tertiary level education and produce these individuals, when the global economy picks up and the demand begins to grow, then we will be faced with extremely high prices because we don't have the local skills or the regional skills to produce the goods that are now being demanded. So there's a long-term benefit. Yes, we may not see it now as the individual who is looking, maybe frustrated, but know that when the global economy turns around, you will be right there at the front of the line for that high-paying job.
Okay, thank you for that. I'm Jacques Kingston Compton. This is an episode of Issues and Answers. We're due for a break. We'll be back in a moment.
Agriculture, one of the pillars of St. Lucia's economic development, creating opportunities for earning a living for the farmer and his family. From the field to the kitchen, the St. Lucians are finding creative ways of using fruits, crops, and vegetables grown locally, from local seasonings to special brews, from aquaculture to the cultivation of local herbs for export. A strong agriculture industry strengthens the economy. The country needs your support. So, buy local.
Welcome back to Issues and Answers with me, Jacques Kingston Compton. I'm here with several faculty members of the University of the West Indies. Yes, Mr. Jones, Dr. Conrad actually spoke to us a little bit about the investment that education is, and you had your own take on the question that I asked.
Well, I'm thinking you don't have to limit yourself only to home. Once you have the education, you have the education background, the world market is open to you. Right? You can travel to the States, to the UK. Now, right now, I think there's some shortages in China, India, right? Those kind of areas you can actually look at. It might be a little expensive to get there, but the returns will be quite good. Yeah? Okay.
And so getting to let's talk about eligibility requirements for, well, your course. You spoke earlier about your course already. Well, so in fact, generally in terms of to UWI, okay, what would your eligibility requirements be?
All right, well, the basic entry requirements or matriculation requirements for the university, you need to have your 5 O-level passes, including maths and English. And after that, we look at if you did advanced level study. So if you have 2 A-level passes, that's fine with us. Persons who didn't get a chance to study and do that, if you did an associate degree at the community college here, we accept that as well. The minimum GPA for an associate degree is 2.5 and up, right? Certain faculties will ask for a bit more. Law, for example, will ask for a higher GPA, medical sciences, engineering, those kind of areas, right? Let's touch a bit on medical sciences, though. We always focus on the academic half of the entry requirements, but medical sciences has a 2-part entry requirement, academic and co-curricular. All right, so we give you points based on activities that you took part in over your school career, secondary school, even outside of school. All right, so if you have, let's say, awards for excellence in maths or some sort of activity you took part in school, if you're a school prefect, if you took part in activities at church, if you worked over the summer, all these things you can indicate to us, and we'd give you points based on that. We really want a well-rounded student to go into the medical sciences faculty, not somebody who's just studying and getting good grades. Okay. Right? Because you have to talk to people, you're dealing with persons. Right? So we don't really want somebody who has no interpersonal skills. All right?
So in that spirit, could you both tell me, we'll start with you, Mrs. Roberts, what are you looking for in a prospective student?
Thank you. With the Faculty of Law, the admission requirements, we look at the CSEC as well as A-levels or CAPE or an associate degree with a high GPA. And we do not look at particular subjects, unlike some faculties that look at sciences, chemistry, physics, and so on. We will look, there's some things I would say might help you in the study of law, like literature, language, and so on, but we just look for the best applicants from the group that we get. So it's very competitive, and we have a quota system to fill, and usually with the A-levels, it would have to be A's, or with CAPEs, 1s and 2s. So the better you do at those courses, the better your chances would be. But I just wanted to add something to what Garrett said earlier, that while at the university, the normal matriculation requirement is that you get the CSEC subjects and the A-levels or the associate degrees. At the open campus, you can just come with your CSEC courses, so 5 CSEC courses, and you can start at the open campus, and then that's a pathway towards the university. Or at the university, I think one of the exceptions is with science and technology, that they have some pre-science courses that would allow you into the university, and that's like a preliminary test before you get into the full degree program. You can do the pre-science courses. I think just with the CSEC courses, you don't have to do the CAPE or the A-levels. So there are different paths in the different programs, and it's always good to seek out, the websites, get more information, and based on what career you ultimately want to enter into, you can start that application process. And just earlier when you spoke to Darren about career opportunities and so on, I was thinking about, you know, chipping in there. I don't want to mention the gender imbalance on the panel, but the faculty of law and the study of law, there's often a misconception that when you study law, you already know what you want to do and that you're going to be in court and you're going to be an advocate. But with the study of law, I want to say that, you know, as Darren said, the study of law enhances your capacity to be articulate, enhances your reasoning capacity. And with a law degree, it is not always the case that you have to become an advocate and be in court. You can be an in-house counsel. You can be a legislative drafter working in Parliament. You can be a lecturer like me. Even though I'm an attorney that practices, I am full-time lecturer right now. And you can work with international organizations and draft treaties, you can advise governments. The leaders throughout the region, most of them have a law degree training, so you can be a politician. You can be the Attorney General, judges, magistrates, many constitutional office holders. They're important office holders that require a law degree. So consider law as an option, even if you don't know what you want to become. Because when I started studying law, I actually didn't know what exactly I wanted to do, which area I wanted to be, you know, to practice in, and I kind of found my path while studying. So as you study, sometimes you find your path along the way, but this is always an excellent option to consider.
Okay, and what about you, Dr. Conrad?
Almost makes me want to go back and do law now. In the Faculty of Social Sciences, we stick with the university's general requirements, and of course the math and English. Because of the number of degree programs, we generally stick with that. But we do also have a point system. So when we get an application, what we do is award points based on the grades in which the person earned at the CAPE level or the A level or the A levels, GCA A levels, or the CSEC levels. So we award points based on the grades, and we accept as low as 3 as a pass. So we have programs that you can get into. So now what we do is a little bit different in that you may have applied to management, but based on the point system and the number of applications, we would then make an offer based on your second option that you choose. So when applying, it is very important that you choose, you have one option, a second option, but it allows for a third option.
There's four options.
Yeah. So put options so that when we look at the application, if you only have one option, let's say management, and you didn't make that grade to get into management, then we can't make an offer because we don't know what you wanted. But if you have 4 choices on there, then we can go down and find a program that you would fit into based on your score. And that is important because a score reflects a competency. So you may want to do management, but the grades you earned means that you may not be able to perform well in that department. So we look at it as being a true social scientist. We help the individuals and position them to grow.
Okay. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to all of you. I'm Jacques Kingston Compton. This has been another episode of Issues and Answers. Stay tuned to the National Television Network for more programming.
Joseph emphasized that persons involved in the rearing of livestock need to think as
It is the intention of government to give deliberate attention to all levels of education from
watch in preparation for any eventuality. EMAP, the national
until the end, Brian, who will actually make it true? Will the tables be turned?
Be money like at the top moon, but la Messi go hotel here, lay back.
City that appeals to locals and visitors alike is set to
As many as